What's up, guys? LQ here with the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me here at my YouTube channel. This is where I talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that I love to talk about. Movies, video games, comic books, and TV shows. And right now I'm going to talk about the surprise short film that was released it's set in the Star Trek universe, called Unification. And I'm a huge Star Trek fan, have been my whole life. It's one of the first franchises that I was a fan of, right? Probably Masters of the Universe is first, and then Star Trek is second. Um, I would watch the original series as a kid. I would watch Next Generation the day it came out, the day it premiered on TV. It was something that me and my mom did every night, every week. And Star Trek is a part of my life, and I love Star Trek. I haven't loved all the new stuff. Some of it I have, but most of it I haven't. But this new short film, Unification, it blew my mind, and in such a good way. So it stars William Shatner. He did come back for this, and they de-aged him. And I've seen some really good de-aging technology. I've also seen some really awful de-aging technology. This might be the best de-aging technology I've ever seen. You can tell that this process was done with love and care, and it all showed on the screen. De-aging was phenomenal. The movie is about 10 minutes long, and it's kind of open to interpretation as far as what's happening here. I feel like there's two ways to interpret this. Number one, what we're seeing in this movie is Kirk's essence still in the Nexus. I think that could very well be it. They even show us, parts of the end of Generations. So it could be Kirk's essence still in the Nexus and experiencing that joy that was talked about in Generations in the Nexus. Now, not everything he experiences in this movie is joy. At least not in the sense that we typically think of as joy. Another way to interpret it is he saw a hooded figure at the beginning, towards the beginning of the movie. Now, somebody told me that the hooded figure was in Discovery. I watched the first season of Discovery and then tapped out. I think I watched some of season 2, but I tapped out of Discovery. I didn't care for it. Somebody told me that this hooded figure was in Discovery and that the hooded figure was definitely the one that took him on this journey. I don't know. I love the fact that they're diving into Star Trek lore. I love that. We saw glimpses of the cage in here. We saw Savick as an older woman in here. I mean, they used Star Trek lore in such a reverential way that I just smiled. And what I also love about this. Okay, so let me backtrack a little bit. So Kirk goes on this journey, and it appears it's either after he is dead or it's his essence still in the Nexus. But either way, he goes on this journey where he encounters younger versions of himself, and he encounters places that he knew, and ultimately at the end, he encounters Spock on Spock's deathbed, and this is Leonard Nimoy as Spock. Obviously, it's not really Leonard Nimoy. It's an actor that has really good deepfake technology here, but he encounters Leonard Nimoy's version of Spock on his deathbed. And what is really interesting to me is that this would be Spock on his deathbed in the Kelvin universe. So, did this being, who may or may not be from Star Trek Discovery, can this being jump timelines and bring Kirk's soul or Kirk's essence to Spock's deathbed? Can the Nexus, if this is Kirk's essence in the Nexus, can the Nexus cross timelines? Because this is definitely the Kelvin version of Spock, and Kirk is able to be with Spock as he passes away. Um, and again, I'm not discounting it being the Nexus, because it's not traditional joy as we would think of as joy. But it also kind of is joy, right? For him to be able to be there with his best friend, his brother, at the end. And Kirk is able to look out the window and see the sunset. I mean, it was, maybe, like I said, maybe not joy in the traditional sense, but there was this, it was love, right? And that's really what Kirk's story was about. Kirk never had a significant other that, I mean, he had, there was women in Kirk's life, but he never had a significant other whose his love for her would have trumped his love for Spock or McCoy. Star Trek in so many ways was about the relationship between those three people, Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, their brotherhood, the brotherly love that they had for each other. And for Kirk to be able to be there with him at the end, there had to have been a sense of love and duty, and even a sense of happiness about that. This movie was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was probably the best thing Star Trek has done in a long time. I mean, I really liked Picard season 3, but this was really good. And um, it was done mostly without dialogue. I think there's only one line of dialogue, and it was from Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. So it was just the acting on William Shatner's face, the story that was being told through movement and body language, the score, hints of the original theme weaved into the score, hints of themes from other iterations of Star Trek weaved into the score. But like I said, the body language, the looks on the face, the settings, the environment that they're in. This was phenomenal Star Trek storytelling, and they did it in 10 minutes. They did it with very little to no dialogue, and it made me feel more for Star Trek than I have in a long time. Probably even more than Picard season 3. This was special. So, from a Star Trek fan, this was special. If you're not a Star Trek fan, I doubt you're going to get a lot out of this. But if you are a Star Trek fan, watch this. Look it up on YouTube. It's free to watch, and it's a special 10 minutes. I cannot recommend it more. So, Unification, set in the Star Trek world. Check it out. Really good. All right. Thanks, guys. Leave comments down below. Subscribe to my channel. And until next time, we'll see you later.